You are tuned in to your dose of positivity. I am Marlene Motivates, and thank you so much for all my members. And if you would like to join membership and gain further support, hit that link, it's pinned. I am Marlene Motivates, and as I always say, just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
Be encouraged, be inspired, be yourself, you will survive. Just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
Hey everybody, how are you guys doing? It's Marlene of Marlene Motivates, your channel for inspiration, positivity, mindset shifting, and support. Today we're here with a live sharing some dating tips, some dating help, some dating support, or it could be maybe whatever breakup that you have. Maybe you just are recently going through a divorce. Maybe you just broke up from a long time relationship. What do they call those? I can't think of it, where people live together for a long period of time. Common law marriage. Okay. So whatever breakup that you have dealt with recently, or maybe it has been some time, I want to talk about today some of the things that we learned from your previous relationship. You know, it's all about our perspective, how we choose to live our life. And we can choose to look at things in a negative way, or we can look at things as how we can grow from it, how we mature from it, and how we can do better. Okay. Do better in the next round. Okay. So, what did you learn from your previous relationship? To those who are live in the chat and those who are watching in the replay, what did you learn from your previous relationship? We're going to get into all of those things. So happy Friday to everybody. How are you guys doing? How was your week? It is the weekend, okay? It is the weekend. You made it. Yes. So thumbs up, thumbs up. Hey, Swoop, how are you doing? Welcome. I'm doing awesome. How are you doing? Thank you so much. Appreciate your support. Yes, I'm glad you caught me too. Thank you so much. Hey East, how are you doing? Welcome. Happy Friday. How are you doing? Hey Wellness, how's it going? Appreciate you being here. Awesome, awesome. Hey Miss Tamika, how are you doing? Mod on deck. Appreciate your support. Hey Miss Rachel, how are you doing? Welcome. Happy Friday. I hope everybody's awesome. So I just wanted to come in, do a little pop-up live. I know I didn't plan it, but that's usually how I do on Fridays because my Fridays are very busy. So I just thought I'd pop up on you guys. I didn't think you guys would mind that. So today I want to talk to you guys about let's see where I am, where I am. Um, where am I? Let's see. I'm looking for right here, right in front of my face. What did you learn from your previous relationship? That's what we're talking about. What did you learn from your previous relationship? Was your previous relationship amicable? Were you in a relationship with somebody that was immature, or were you with somebody who was mature? Was it somebody that you just saw that the relationship just was not going to work, or was the breakup bitter? I want to know that. Hey, Miss Tracy, how are you doing? Welcome. Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for your support. I hope you're doing awesome. Happy Friday to you. Um, I can say my previous breakup was terrible. Terrible. And I learned a lot of things. Not in the beginning. In the beginning, I think in the beginning, you do a lot of, it was their fault. It was their fault. Blaming them. But in actuality, when I got mature, got real with myself, I saw a lot of flaws in the things that I did too. Um, when you get real about everything. It's not just a one-sided thing. So let me go to the first point. What did you learn from your previous relationship? To everybody in the chat, let me know. My first thing that I learned from my previous relationship is to not wait for people to grow up. And I did that for a really long time. I waited for people, for not people, but the person that I was in a relationship with. They I think it was, I was trying to force the mold. I was trying to force someone to conform to something that is not what I wanted. It's not what I needed. We were never aligned, if I wanted to be honest with myself from the beginning, but I was trying to force it to happen. I was trying to force it to work. I was trying to wait, like maybe in a few months, maybe in 6 months, maybe in a year and 5 years, over 10 years later, and the alignment never came. So, oh, a mosquito just flew right in my face. Yeah, it's hot still in Florida, guys. So don't wait for people to grow up, because they just don't. Unfortunately, sometimes we choose and select people that are not good for us. We go by, we choose people for the wrong reasons. Definitely. Let me see what's going on here in the chat. Okay. Hey, Bronze, how are you doing? Welcome. I don't know why it's not coming up on the screen. Oh, that's because I'm frozen. It was frozen for a second. Hey, Bronze, how are you doing? Welcome. It's all good, East. Yes. I overlooked a lot of red flags. Yeah, and we're going to be talking about some of those, Swoop. Yeah, yeah, we're going to be talking about that. Wellness said my last relationship with was with my son's father after he left when I was pregnant and has since neglected his son since birth. I knew I needed to work on me. Bad picker because I was broken clearly. Yeah. And you know, honestly, I can say when we're broken like that, when we're in a really bad space, we really don't see that it's us. All I felt was the pain, right? All I felt was them, you're doing this to me, like it's a personal attack against you. But in actuality, both of you are hurting in some way. A lot of times it's you both need to do some work on yourself, you know, and maybe that was not a person you should have selected from the beginning, you know. And I'm so sorry that that happened to you, Wellness. I really am. I'm sorry to anybody who has really been hurt in the name of love, because that's what we think sometimes, that love hurt us. But I will say this, I thought I knew love, but in actuality, it never was love. I can say 100% honesty, it was lust. It was trying to escape. It was, but I personally don't believe my previous relationship was love at all. I had to learn how to love myself first and how to submit to a man and not hold them accountable for my past. Wow. That's a, you hitting heavy, Rachel. You're hitting heavy. Yeah, you had to learn to love yourself. And a lot of times in relationships, we don't know how to do that. I'll just say it like this: a lot of times, as women, hmm, that's not something, like, if you don't have a good example of a woman who knows how to be, you know, knows when to be soft and when how to be hard, you know, it's tough sometimes for women to be in a relationship with a man, because if you are used to for so long doing things on your own, learning to have things the way that you want it, and then you have somebody and you're supposed to be submissive to them, right? And it's hard. For my thing is, I found that it's not hard to be submissive to somebody that you trust. And I think that that was the issue. I could never be submissive because I didn't trust his leadership. That's what it was. I didn't trust his leadership. Because let me just say this, sometimes if you don't know the direction of the person, they don't know where they're going, they're steady trying to figure it out. There's no way that you could trust that person because they don't know what they're doing either. Yeah. The ego, right? The ego. Writer says, you remind me of the first therapist I had. She was the one that taught me how to break out of my shell and learn how to deal with the shield that I had put up against the world. Yes, yes. We put up that shield because it's a source to protect ourselves. That shield, we do it to protect ourselves from pain, from disappointment, from, you know, seeing our own flaws. We do that to try to shut out the noise of other people, even when other people are trying to warn us that that person is really not good for us. Okay. Yes, because God is my kid's father. I'm so sorry to hear that, Tamika. And you know, it happens a lot, that there's a lot of women, and I'm not gonna. There's no shade to the men, because I know that there are a lot of men too, being single parents, but it's tough. It's hard for a woman to be that in that leadership role, you know, to be mother and to take on the role to try to raise especially boys. That's a difficult journey. So shout out to all the moms out there holding it down, and also shout out to those real fathers who are taking care of their children, loving on their babies. I'm really proud of you all. Anybody who's raising children on their own, yeah, yeah, you're doing an awesome job. Don't give up. Keep your head up. Let me go to my point number two. Another thing that I learned from my previous relationship is to look for the red flags. Believe the toxicity. When you see something and you know that it's not something you like, even no matter what excuse they give, no matter what they say, no matter what trap they try to put, no matter what manipulation, no matter what lie they tell you, when something, when you see something and you're like, that's crazy, that's weird, that's strange, that's dangerous, that's not something that I like, leave them alone. I wish that I had been strong enough. And I believe that 100%. Sometimes we're not strong enough. We see the red flags. We know that that's not something good. But because we don't have that strength from within, we don't, we see it, but we don't want to believe in that enough to walk away. We'd rather keep a piece of a relationship, right? We'd rather have a little crumbs of a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a husband or a wife than to know that we deserve better and that we don't have to settle for just a little boy or a little girl, or because I do say that in relationships sometimes that you're not in a relationship with a full grown woman or a full grown man. Unfortunately, maybe ourself or maybe them have not got into a place where they know themselves. They have not matured fully. They don't know what they want. They don't know what they're doing because they haven't put in the time to work on themselves. Getting mature is a whole different thing than being an adult. That's another thing that I learned from my previous relationship, that you have to be in that space first to know yourself. You need to know yourself. You need to know your worth. You have to know what you want. You have to be driven, because if you don't, somebody whoever you come in with, if you don't know firmly what you want, that person can cause you to make poor decisions, because if you're with somebody, you're going to kind of naturally be inclined to do what they want you to do because you want to make them happy. So when you see red flags, run. When you see red flags, run. Run and run fast, right? Run and run fast. Yes, shout out to them. Yes, wellness, shout out to them. Absolutely awesome job. Yeah, prayers for the neglected parents. Yes. See something, do something, leave. Yes, well, see something, and don't wait. Don't wait. Because a lot of times they'll be like, "Oh, I'm going to change." How many of us heard that? I'm going to change. I'm going to do better. I'm going to do better, right? I'm going to do better. And guess what? They never do better. They never do better. And sometimes it's not because they don't want to. A lot of times, especially for people who look like us, with minorities in urban communities, we don't always have the right tools. We have issues with allowing ourselves to be humble enough to ask for help, to seek some support, to believe in ourselves, to know that you deserve better. So when we see certain things, we let things go, because let me tell you something. I listen to other people who probably were broken themselves. Haven't you guys seen that people love to give advice on your life, but their life is messed up. They want to tell you about a healthy and good relationship, and they don't have a healthy and good relationship. It's like, make that make sense. It doesn't. Hayward, how are you doing? Welcome. Happy Friday. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for your support. I hope you're doing well. Let me see what else I missed. Yes, run, right? Well, wellness, run, and run. Let me go to the next point. Point number 3. This is something that I learned. What did you learn from your previous relationship? Don't tolerate any forms of cheating. There's many types of cheating. There's emotional cheating. There's the actual act, cheating on you sexually. There's those who do some really grimy things when it comes to money, just cheating you out of your time, cheating you out of your worth and the things that you deserve. There's a lot of forms of cheating. It's not just when a person steps out on you with the actual sexual act. There's more to cheating, because most of the time cheating first starts with having those thoughts that you're thinking about it, and then of course when the opportunity presents itself, there you go. So if you're getting any forms of cheating, that's what I learned, that I would never tolerate any forms of cheating, ever. Ever, ever, ever. Yeah, zero tolerance. Zero tolerance. Doing great. Rounding up the children. It's feeding time. Oh, yum, yum. Time to eat. Enjoy, kiddos. Yeah, don't tolerate any forms of cheating. Don't tolerate any forms of cheating. Okay, point number 4. What did I learn from my previous relationship? Whew. There is many forms of abuse. I definitely learned that in my previous relationship. There's many forms of abuse, verbal abuse, mental abuse, spiritual abuse, and also there's physical abuse. I didn't receive that in my previous relationship, but that's another thing. Don't tolerate that either. So first off, start off by saying, the form of abuse that we get a lot is that verbal abuse, always putting you down, putting you down. You're stupid, you're foolish, the screaming, the yelling, the manipulation of your mind, just, or even a lot of people don't know that abuse also is lack of communication. That's a form of abuse, like them making a choice to go silent on you for extended periods of time. Nobody deserves that. Nobody deserves to be ignored. That's a form of abuse, and you don't have to take it. You deserve way better than that. Okay. Another form of abuse is that mental abuse, just the things that they do. Sometimes, unfortunately, people who have, some mental disorders, like they're just not okay. And when people are going through things in their own life, they take it out on you, right? So that's not a good thing. So there's many forms of abuse. And I learned from my previous relationship that my mental health matters. I definitely learned that, and learned that I got to take time for my mental health. If I need a break, if I need some time by myself, and I learned that if you have somebody, you're in a relationship, they should be very concerned about how you're doing mentally. They should be concerned by checking on you, by supporting you for the things that you need, and also vice versa. It can't be one-sided. And I find a lot of times that it's not always going to be 100% balanced, because that's life, but it should be of course, you check on them, but also are they checking on you to see, are you okay? Do you need something? What can I do for you? How can I support you? And this is another thing that I learned that I would never put up with again is spiritual abuse. And it's going to be different for everybody. But for me, somebody who would not uh, support me in my spiritual needs. Somebody who will not pray with me, somebody who will not meditate with me, for us to get involved in the belief in having our spiritual relationship together, because I do believe in the unity of, the both of us plus our relationship with the higher power. I think that's very important, and a lot of people leave that out. And I promised myself that I would never ever do that again. To leave out having a strong spiritual relationship. I did that once, and I promised myself I would never ever not have that again. Never. Let's see what's going on in the chats. Swoop says, my first marriage was physical abuse. My second marriage was verbal and mental. Oh, wow. I'm so sorry, Swoop. I'm so sorry to hear that, but I'm so glad that you made it through that. I really am. I'm so glad that you made it through that and you can share your testimony now. But wow, that's a lot of things that you went through, and I'm sure that you learned a lot of lessons. But I'm so grateful that you're still here with us, and you're able to be in a better space. Well, I hope, and I pray that you're in a better space right now. Hey Shay, how are you doing? Welcome. Good to see you. Happy Friday. Hey everyone listening and driving. Awesome. Be safe, Shay. Okay. So let's get to my next point. Point number 5. I think I have 11 points today. So we on point number 5, everybody. What did you learn from your previous relationship? One thing that I definitely have learned from my previous relationship is learning to trust my gut, learning to trust my intuition, learning to trust my conscience. If somebody does something to me, does something not only to me or to others, or they want you to do something that bothers your conscience, wants you to keep secrets, wants you to do things that, is not in line with your values, then that person really doesn't care about you. A person who cares about you and loves you would never want you to um, have a trouble conscience. So that's not good. And learning to trust your intuition when you feel like something is not right with somebody, learning to believe that. That's something that I learned in my maturity when I was like, something's not right. But you kind of just let it go because maybe lack of experience, lack of humility, lack of support. And so a combination of things. And also, what I will say is, I definitely learned since that time period to trust my gut. When my gut tells me no, when my gut tells me run, when my gut tells me something is wrong, always believe it. Because my gut told me a long time ago something was wrong with the relationship, but I pursued it anyways because I wanted to be in that relationship, because I was crazy about this person. I really was. But what really is it worth if you care about somebody, but then they don't care about you back? That's very unhealthy when you're the one propelling the relationship. You're the one calling, you're the one putting in the work, you're the one saying let's get together, you're the one saying let's go on vacation, you're the one saying what about this and what about the future, and it's never. No, that's a very toxic environment. So with all that being said, if you feel something in your gut and your gut tells you run, your gut tells you something is not right, Your gut is saying, I don't think this is the right person for you. Or your intuition is telling you that I think there's more to this person, and they're not telling you the 100% truth. Or if your conscience is trouble, if that person does things that makes you feel uncomfortable or is outside of the line with what your belief system is, that relationship should not be pursued. You need to leave that person alone. Leave them alone. I'm so glad to hear that, Soup. I'm so glad to hear that. That's wonderful. I'm glad you're in a much better place. Anything that makes you pause and question the person, be okay with leaving. Yeah, but honestly, you have to be in a space to where you can tell yourself it's going to be okay. I can find somebody else that will be better for me. I always thought that I could take somebody from how they are and I could change them, uh, or I could improve them. I can make them be more of what I want. See, how somebody is how they are. They're not most likely not going to change. Most of the time, it gets worse. So if you're in a relationship and you're not in a good space in the relationship, don't think that it's going to get better. But if you're in a relationship and if it's good, you have your good times and bad times, but there's a lot of mutual respect and trust and all of those things, then you can make it work. Because I'm not here to say, oh, the relationship is going to be perfect, everything is going to be right. But when certain things just aren't adding up, like what I said, the math is not mathing. Yeah, the math is not mathing. No. This is another thing that I learned from my previous relationship. Don't give money or fund a person. You are not a bank. And I say this to all you ladies. I say this to all you gentlemen. Um, we get in relationships sometimes, and you have a person, and they become like a, how would I say they become a person who are going through things in their life and they need some support and help, but that's not your responsibility. If the person that you meet is not in a space to where they're ready, and they have their things together, then you just wish them the best and you move along. But if you have somebody and they're not in a good space financially, it's definitely going to affect you. I will say that. So you're not a bank. It's not your job. You're not Western Union. You're not Amscot. You're not. No, no. Don't do it. Hello. All you motivators, don't do it. Please learn from me. Please learn from me. Yeah, that's our biggest mistake as women. We can't change anyone but ourselves. I think men go through it too, Swoop. You can't change the person that you're with. You can't change them. You can't change them. Only person you can work on is yourself. And I have to say too, make sure that when you're looking for somebody, you make sure you find somebody who is mature enough to have conversations, communication, mature enough to that you feel comfortable that you can talk to about everything. And that's definitely something that I never have felt like. I felt like sometimes if I felt a certain way and they didn't agree with whatever I was going to say, like it was kind of scoffed at. Yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like that. If it was something that wasn't important to them, I mean, it wasn't important to them, uh, then they didn't understand why it was important to me. And I can say the same thing, like that's not important to me, but I would make the things that were important to them a priority for me, but they weren't making what was important to me a priority for them. And that's not a good thing. If you're never a priority in the relationship, leave them alone. Here's another thing I learned from my previous relationship, that communication is the heart of the relationship. It really is. Communication. Yep. And if you don't communicate in the relationship will eventually fizzle out. And I understand everybody's not on the same levels of communication. No, they're not. Everybody communicates differently. Some people don't know anything about a communication, but you have to have some forms of talking with each other about how you're feeling, what you're going through, what you want. And if you don't get that form of communication in the relationship, I'm telling you, there's always going to be one of you or both will go looking for communication elsewhere, and that's not a good thing. So I definitely learned that from my previous relationship. If a person doesn't want to communicate with you, you can't force them. Can't force somebody to talk to you. If somebody ignores you or cuts you off, that's the end of it. Don't try to force. Don't try to force somebody. If somebody wants to talk to you, they will. And if you are with somebody and they don't feel like you are important enough to talk with, you need to evaluate that relationship. You are important enough to have conversation with. You should actually be feel that special. And here's another one. What did I learn from my previous relationship? Once I have emotionally detached, so will I sexually. That I'm not speaking for everybody here. I'm speaking for myself. Um, Once I start telling you about the way I'm feeling, and it stops being important to you, like if you, I'm always saying, this is how I feel, this is what I want, this is what I'm going through, this is my hurt, and it's always like whatever is ignored. For me personally, I can't say for everybody, but once a person stops listening to my personal thoughts, my attraction goes. And for me, after attraction, so does respect. So it's done. It's done. That's how I work. Let's see what else. Tamika says, that's right, Swoop. Yeah. Facts, facts on facts. Swoop says, that's what I came to realize in my second marriage. Even though we worked at the same job and making the same money, I was the main one splitting our money. But when I decided I was done, I said no to, yeah, said no to money matters. He was willing to end the relationship. Wow. Very unsupportive. I'm so sorry, Swoop. And we have puzzle pieces in the building. How are you doing? It's good to see you. Happy Friday to you. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, hey, puzzle pieces. Puzzle pieces says Swoop, and many times that it's all they want from us, the money, the 50-50 split. Just saying. Mm. That's sad. That's a sad thing that's happening. And it happens a lot, right? It really does happen a lot. Hold on a second, guys. It really does happen a lot. And it's sad. But this is me personally. I'm not speaking for anybody here in the chat, but I'm just speaking for what I went through. That emotional, when I emotionally detach, my body detaches, and then the respect goes. The respect is gone. I can't respect somebody who doesn't respect my thoughts and my opinions. Point number 9, my spirituality will never be on the back burner ever again. That's something I definitely learned from my previous relationship. No, no, never, ever again. I'm not here to push my thoughts on spirituality, but I'm just saying for me, no, my spiritual connection, my time to connect. I will never put that on the back burner. And I see a lot of people, they sacrifice everything to be in a relationship, and they forget about you know that who is there before them, who supported you before they were there. People forget those things. Yeah. And I got two more points, so I'm about to put this link in the chat. Put this invite link in the chat for if I have some that want to come up and share their thoughts. Let me put this link in here. I got two more points. Yeah, so my point number 10 is respect is earned, not deserved. I don't believe that in a relationship that people automatically deserve to be respected. I don't feel it works that way. I think a respect is earned. You both sides have to work on respecting one another. Just like you personally want to be respected, do you respect the other? Do you respect me? Do you respect my opinions? Do you respect my thoughts? Do you respect my time? Do you respect the finances of the relationship, or are you doing whatever you want? That's one thing that I can't take, that I learned from my previous relationship, is that I had to learn that it's okay for me to have my own thing, do my own thing. Okay. Respect is earned, not deserved. That was one of the red flags I overlooked. I found out later in the relationship he was a whole minister, but he didn't act like it. Yeah, and that's why I always say that it's not about what they say, because people can say a lot of things in a relationship, right? I'm this and I do this and I'm about that and I want this, but in the real world, in the right here and right now, in the present, how do they act? How do they treat? How do they talk to? What work are they putting in to make the relationship work? And I think it's on both sides, honestly. Me too. I hold myself accountable too. What did I do? What didn't I do too? It's both sides. More often, more often than we realize, Marlene. And I'm talking on both men and women. Yes, puzzle pieces. Yeah. Yeah, it happens a lot. Let me get to point number 11. I got one more point, and then I've come to the end of my points, and I'm ready to talk with whoever would like to come up. Okay. Point number 11. What did you learn from your previous relationship? What I learned from my previous relationship is have your own life outside of the relationship. It's very important for, as grown women and as grown men, for you to have a whole life, have things that you like, that you enjoy, have your friends, work on your own personal goals. That, yes, I think it's important to have goals within the relationship, that you have a couple's goal, but it shouldn't stop you from, as a individual, from having your own goals and what you want. So, know your worth, everybody. And I think a lot of times that doesn't happen when you're in a relationship with somebody who's very controlling, when they want to control your time, your friendships, your money. That the relationship only is centered and focused on what they want and what they need, and it's never about what you want. The questions are never asked, are you okay? Are you okay? Do you need something? How is the relationship? How is our relationship? Are we happy? If those questions aren't asked, there's an issue in the relationship. And I think that there's a tendency for, when nothing is said, there's the assumption that everything is okay, and a lot of times it's not okay. You haven't been okay for a long time, but you've just been putting up with it because you just don't know how to say that you're unhappy in the relationship. But a lot of that comes from you not having your life. You can't have your your whole life at the whole center and focus of your relationship, just the person and what they're doing. What are you doing? What are you pursuing? What are your goals? What are your hopes? What are your talents? Have your own life outside of the relationship. And if you don't have somebody who is supportive of your goals and your hopes and what you want to do, then I really don't think that it's a good relationship for you to be in. Make sure you have your own life outside of the relationship. I think that that's so important. Let's see what I missed. If I missed anything? Nope. Okay. Let me hold on one second, guys. Okay. All right. Now let's get to the next point. We got one. This is the last point I have here. Point number 12. What did I learn from my previous relationship? This is, I feel like, one of the most things that I was lacking, something that I didn't know about myself. And I say that to all of you: be your own friend. And that's something I definitely did not have in my previous relationship. My relationship was only built around them, making them happy, what they wanted, what they needed, and it was never about me. And I also wasn't putting any energy into recognizing what I wanted, recognizing what I needed, recognizing my own friendship. And realizing when I needed those mental health breaks, realizing when I needed to be supported, when I needed some time to be by myself, when I needed my alone time, when I needed my self-care. And also I have to say that what I learned in my previous relationship, that it's okay to set some boundaries, that this is my time. There are so many times I'm not going to answer my phone. I need to be off grid for my mental health. I need to be off grid so that I can work on my plans, so that I can work on my goals, for me to be used by God. And I think that that's important, to not give all of our time, our effort, our energy into somebody, and then you spend all this time, all these years pouring into somebody, and then you're hollow and empty afterwards because you were never putting anything into yourself. So what did I learn from my previous relationship? Learning how to just be me, and learning that that's okay, learning how to be my own friend, learning how to support myself, learning to speak up and to say I don't like that. um, I think those are very important lessons. Knowing how to talk up, knowing how to say no, learning that it's time to walk away, learning that when we see somebody is for who they are, saying, I know who you are. I see what you're doing. No matter what you say, you aren't. Yes, you are. And I think that's a part of being your own friend, is that there are times where you have to say enough is enough. You're not good for me. That maybe in the beginning they may have been, maybe you outgrew the relationship, maybe that person has never ever been good for you, maybe they never have. Maybe we forced the relationship, but honestly, we cannot just blame a person for what they have done. We also have to remember you're the one that chose them. I had to come to terms with that. We blame people a lot of times for the things that they have done to us, and not that you're receiving it and saying that it's okay. But also remember, you're the one that selected them. But also, you have to also say, but I'm not going to accept the negative behavior. I'm not going to accept the things that you have done that is hurtful to me. I say to all of you, raise your elevation and know that you don't have to take what everybody puts out for you. Not everybody is who they say they are. There's a lot of people who are deceitful in relationships. They're deceitful with the money. They come as a wolf in sheep's clothing. They don't come to help or to heal you. They come to take. Come to take, break you mentally, break you spiritually, break you financially, so that they can get whatever it is that they want. Um, and then they move along, and you're sad, broken, and put in all this time, and you're asking yourself, how did I allow this to happen? How did I allow this to happen? And most of the time, you weren't working on a relationship with yourself. And I promised myself that that would never, ever happen again. That's one of the main things that I learned from my previous relationship. Learning how to be my own best friend, learning how to check in on me. Those mental health checks like, girlfriend, you doing okay? You all right? You all right here? Are you okay here? How is your spirit? And identifying when I'm not. Instead of before, I would always just put on that plastic smile. Oh, yeah, I'm okay. Smiling with everybody, but inside you're dying. Inside you're miserable. So you can be fake with everybody else, but you still have to face your own self in the mirror. You might as well be honest. You might as well be happy. So, yeah, all of that, all of that, all of that, all of that. Okay, I think I saw that comment. Hey, Realist One, how are you doing? Welcome. Appreciate you being here. How are you doing? Happy Friday. Expect them to be the person they are. If they show, reveal it, believe them. Yes, yes, and yes. Hey, Boss Life Online, how are you doing? Welcome in. Appreciate you being here. Yes, puzzle pieces. Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. And I've come to the end of my points. So the link is here in the chat. If puzzle pieces, Ms. Boss Life Online, Miss Swoop would like to come up, I'd appreciate it. You guys can hit that link. You're welcome to. Um, so, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this topic, and talk about what did you learn from your previous relationship, because a lot of times we'll get out of a bad relationship, a toxic relationship, and then we just jump and hop into a new relationship, right? But you have to come to terms with it. You have to face, okay, why didn't this relationship work out? What part was me? What part was them? And the more honest you are about what you did, what you allowed, what you did, what you didn't do, is the better off you will be when you get to the next relationship. See, the issue is people jump from one relationship just pointing fingers at others, but they are never working on, what did I do? What did I accept? What didn't I do? Was I good in the relationship? What could have I done? How could I have been more supportive or understanding, or whatever it is that we didn't do that maybe we should have done? But it definitely takes us maturing. And it's hard to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I didn't do the best, that I probably should have, but I know myself better. And it takes time for some of us to step into those shoes of maturity and to say, this is what I did. hmm This is what I accepted. And this is what I should not have accepted. So I see Miss Geo backstage. So let's welcome her to the show.
Hey everybody, it's Gio, the Boss Life Online, and I've learned a lot from my previous relationships. Number one, the biggest thing was I'm not a doormat.
hmm
Okay, I've learned how to speak up for myself. Number two, I don't have to push down my feelings. I've learned to say, when you do this, it makes me feel this way, or I feel this way.
hmm
Okay. Uh, Number three, if I don't like something or I don't like a certain food or whatever, I ain't eating it. Okay. I used to would kind of like, kind of,
Yeah.
eat some of it just
Force yourself.
right. But I'm not trying to do that no more. No, man, I haven't done that in really years. Today,
Mhm.
I've learned to say what it is that I don't like and what I'm not going to do. So today, I am a much healthier person, thinking wise. One of the reasons is because I do love myself. Okay, I
Mhm.
constantly work on myself to be better. I believe today I'm the most healthiest that I've ever been in my whole life. And I think I have a lot to offer
Mhm.
someone if they, now I don't want, let me tell you right now, you got to have some kind of recovery because
Mhm.
I'm not going to accept what I used to like the bad boys, child.
Yeah, we love the bad boys, don't we? Mm.
Yeah, we love the bad boy. But today, I don't want a bad boy. I want somebody that loves God like I do. I
Mhm.
want somebody that can tell me their testimony. I want somebody that want to say, "Come on, G, let's pray before we go, uh, to bed." I want somebody that's family oriented. Child asked me if I knew this here back then. No, I knew this after I started to love me. Okay, I want somebody that say, "No, no, no, you don't have to cook. I'll do all the cooking."
Amen. Amen. But-
Or we can cook together. I'll do that. Or I'll cook, you clean up. Because there are,
Nope.
you do have to compromise, sometimes and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
But,
And I like
Gio,
affection.
let me welcome Nexie to the show.
Oh, okay.
Hey
Hi,
Nexie,
Gio.
welcome.
Hi, Marlene. Gio, mine has to come with the chef. I don't cook. And a cleaning lady, and I don't like to clean. So no,
Yeah.
mine has to come with both. No, no, no. But
Really?
in all seriousness, great topic, Marlene.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
allowing us to give our put our 2 little cents here. Very important too, because how many times do we have to kiss a frog so that we can get a prince, right?
Ugh, so many frogs, right?
But I wish I had kissed a lot of but the with me, because I got married so young and I'm not confrontational. I allowed my husband to pretty much dictate everything. And
Mhm.
after everything didn't work out, and 20 plus years later, and we got separated and everything. After I was done sitting on the couch with my therapist, saying on how horrid he was and all of his faults, and everything that he did, and how dare he, and the worst man ever. I was confronted with the fact that it wasn't 100% of his fault. And then that was a very hard pill to swallow, by the way. But I was confronted with the fact that I had allowed that to happen. And
Mhm.
I said, no, I didn't. I just don't like confrontation. And I said, and everything led to that. And he said, but you didn't have to be confrontational. You could have put your 2 cents out, let him be whatever he wanted to be. You were the one who has to speak up for you.
Mhm.
You may tell him once, I don't like this, but then if you allow it again and you don't say anything because you already said it once, and according to you, people are supposed to listen to you once, and that, I mean, the first time, and that's it. So whatever happened, it was done by you because you allowed it. And I was like, no, 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 listen. I Yeah, you're not listening to me. Are your ears okay? Because I'm letting you know, and I'm telling you, he is the bad guy. I was the good wife. And he said, no, a relationship is of two
You.
people.
Mhm.
How far you allow someone to go in disrespect, in kindness, in bullying, in whatever it is that you allowed, it's again, I'm letting you know you are allowing this. When we don't like something and he goes, let me put it this way. When you're at work, do you allow, the people that you are, that are dependent on you or that you're the boss of, do you allow them to walk all over you?
Mhm.
No, right? You put things in place and they're supposed to respect you. Well, a marriage is the same thing. It's an institution.
Mhm.
It's like a company. So this is, you did all of this. It wasn't just him. You allowed
Mhm.
this to go too far because he said, let me tell you, a lot of people don't want to hear, and you might not like me, but I have to let you know that you were playing the good wife role. A
Yeah.
marriage is not just for a wife role. And I was like, okay, you know what? That door slammed so hard, Marlene. I thought I broke the half of the windows in his office. I was so upset. Then, as
Next
time
thing you're
went
starting,
on and
your
as time
voice
has gone
is getting
on and
robotic.
gone by,
Next to
I
your voice,
realized, yeah,
next to your voice is getting very robotic.
oh, I don't know why. It keeps on kicking me out too, Marlene.
It
Can
sounds
you
like
hear me
a.
now?
I hear you now. It's good
Let
now.
me restart it.
You were starting to sound like T-Pain.
Well, it kept on and it kicked me out and then it brought me back, which is what it's doing with you right now. It keeps on like lagging and then bringing you back out.
Oh, I don't know. You want to
Can
go
you
out?
hear
You
me
want to
now?
go out and come back?
Yeah, let me go out. Let me go out.
Okay. Hey, Miss Geo. So yeah, that's what I learned from my previous relationship. Definitely. I found out, what I wasn't doing, what was I allowing and what I should have spoken up. But I think for myself, my thing was I didn't want to be I didn't want to be a nagging person in the relationship, like, oh, you doing this, oh, you're doing that, oh, you're doing this. I didn't want to be a nagging person because that was the thing that irritated me growing up with my parents. My mom used to always be like, and you're not doing this, and you're not doing that. Mm-mm. I didn't like that. So I didn't want to be that sort of person in the relationship, but I winded up going to the other extreme of not saying anything.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay, you back, Nexty. I hear you well.
Yay, yay. I don't
Yay.
know how far you heard, but again, the point what I was trying to make is that he said that it wasn't just
You cut out now. Hey, Don.
being side by side with up for me because people will go as far as you let them, he says, and that goes in a marriage, in a relationship, and in an intimate relationship, people go as far as you allow them to go.
Hmm.
So he said, you're playing a role, you were playing the wife role, and that's just on movies. In real life, we're supposed to be, partners, mates. We're supposed to be, good friends that can tell each other whatever and, fight it out and come out okay in the other end. It's a partnership where, people have to discuss both ends of the spectrum. But I was just, as time went by, and of course anger subsided and I was a little bit more calm, and I go back in my head, right, to what did I miss or what didn't I do. I started realizing that a lot of the verbal or abuse that happened, I allowed it to happen,
Mm.
by me staying quiet, by me just dismissing it, by me just saying, you know what, it's okay, I'm sorry, yeah, that's fine, just, let's move on. By me dismissing it that way, I allowed it to get, bigger and bigger and more. So,
Mhm.
it was my fault as well for not standing up,
Right.
for not saying, even though I said it a few times, don't talk to me like that, don't disrespect me, but then nothing was done, nothing was followed. So
Yes.
it takes, I understand that the men that we did pick them, right? We did marry them, but even though we did pick them, we did marry them. You know, we don't have to allow certain things to go on in a relationship.
Right. Miss Gio, you have something to add before I add my thoughts?
No, I'm done.
Okay. Okay. So I was thinking something that happens when I realized, I like the last point that I had, that I shared, my point number 12 is being my own friend. I think that's something that I really didn't know because I never saw my parents, I never saw my aunts, I never saw women in my life do things like people do now, like, the self-care time, going to take care of themselves. For back in the day, it was just about, you know, the roles for women. And I kind of bought into that. Like, I was like, I never saw my mom go and get her hair done. I never saw my mom do this. I never saw my mom take a break. She was always with my daddy. And I had to unlearn certain things. Like, I had to learn to not accept what was working or not working for my parents, and not say that that's what's supposed to work for me. Um, I think I had to take that as a hit. I had to receive that we see certain things from relatives and we adopt it, their toxicity, and it's not good for us. We don't even like it, but we tend to think that's what we saw, so that's what we should do as well. And that's not a good thing. I had to learn how to be my own friend. I had to know that it's okay for me to take some time for me.
Um, I wanted to say something on that earlier. I was just tied up, a little bit tied up, so I couldn't because they were making a lot of noise on the outside. But I wanted to say something here. Um, when it comes to that, I've never been the one that only stays home and doesn't do anything with anybody else because I'm married or I'm with someone. I can't. I'm a social person. I like to go out and do my own thing. And if you don't want to go, then you stay home. Oh, and here, stay with the kids. No, but my kids have had friends, and you learn to observe as you get older. You start observing who these people are going to be when they grow up, right? And my kids, one of my kids, I'm not going to say who because I don't want this person to know that I'm talking about them, but one of my kids had a friend who, whenever he or she had a boyfriend or girlfriend, my kid is non-existent. It was all about that person, about that relationship, and it was focused all around that person. There was no room for friends, no room for anything. The minute that relationship, it could be a year, it could be 6 months, a year, 2 years, whenever that relationship would end, that's when this person will come back and start looking for my child. um and I voiced it a couple of times, actually more than a couple. You know how moms are. That's not a friend. I said, I don't understand what the point here is. I said, I don't understand what you see in it, but that's not a friend. A friend is not supposed to only look for you whenever they're not busy with somebody else. That's not a friend. But it continued on like that for many, many years, right? And now that my kids are older and they're married, and the same thing continues to happen. And they're still friends and everything, but I'm thinking, like, how can you consider this person a friend when it dismisses you, when it doesn't need you and only comes back because now they have time for you, because there's nothing more important in their life, so they come to you to be friends again. And then the minute something better happens, they're out there celebrating with other people, going to different places with other people. They don't even invite you, but they still your friend. It's like so weird.
Yeah, and I also think that also has to deal with not knowing how to speak up for yourself, not believing that you deserve better, and not knowing your own personal worth. I think it's a combination of all of those factors, because once you know your worth, you know what you deserve, you know you have standards. There's absolutely some things that you would never tolerate.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And I was hoping as they got older, hopefully, my child will say, you know what, you're right. This person is not worthy of my friendship, at least not such a deep friendship, right? But it hasn't happened yet. So I'm hoping that one day my child will say, I'm worth a lot.
Yeah,
I deserve
I
something better, because I'm not the only one that continues to say that. There's other people saying the same thing around this child of mine, but they don't want to hear it. So
yeah.
there's only so much you can tell someone. Now, for me, I always allow myself the time to, even though I didn't have a mom to reference when it came to, getting my hair
Mhm.
done, being prepared and everything. I think the fact that I had, that I worked and always, had to be presentable, I learned to get my hair done, to get my nails done, and to be presentable at all times. And if my friends will say, hey, we're going to plan a trip somewhere, I have two best friends, three best friends now. But at that time, I had two best friends, and they will plan a trip somewhere. And I'll be like, hey, this day, blah, 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 I'm gone for 3 days. And that began since we got the very beginning of our relationship. Like, it wasn't that something that I did after because I was
Mhm.
comfortable. No, it was from the beginning. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and do you have any plans? And if not, then we can do something together. But if you have plans, then I have this other plan that I want to do. So we will take turns sometimes, because it's important for you to have a life outside of your
Yes.
relationship. That
Yeah.
allows you sometimes to see, Marlene, a lot of the, because friends, how our friends are. They're literally like siblings. They're very brutal
Yes.
sometimes, and they tell you exactly what you don't want to hear.
Yes. And you be like,
Your best friends will. They are, straight in, straight into the middle of your head. That's what they give it
mhm.
to you, like right there.
Yeah.
Because it's important to have friends like that, because they see things that sometimes, because you're so in love with the idea of love in that relationship, that you dismiss a lot of warnings, a lot of warning signs. And your friends bring you back to reality and say, no, that's not how it's supposed to be. There's something wrong there, but you don't listen. But they do bring it up to you.
They do. Some people who care about you will always tell you when you're off track, but like, no, that is not how it's supposed to be. And I think that that's important. And I definitely think that this was a great conversation. Thank you, ladies, so much. Final thoughts. I'll start with Miss Geo.
I'm good, Marlene. I've already said everything I wanted to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Miss Nexie.
You said it before. Be your best friend first. Treat yourself, the way that you want to be treated in that relationship. I think is the only way, because a lot of times we learn by mimicking others, right? We learn from by seeing others. So behave in your relationship and treat that person the way you want to be treated, and speak up. Don't keep anything that is bothering you inside, because that on itself can sour any relationship. So that's pretty much it. Thank you for having me, Marlene.
Thank you, Miss Nexie.
Bye,
Thank you.
Gio.
Thank you, Gio. And shout out to the amazing chat. Thank you guys so much for all your comments. I do these lives on Friday talking about dating and relationship stuff because I think it's very important for us to talk about some of the things that maybe you have done, maybe you are doing, because it's important to be in healthy relationships, not the toxic ones that maybe you have seen or maybe you have been in or maybe you are actually in. We have to come to terms with it. We got to face ourselves in the mirror and it is what it is. So, thank you guys so much for joining today. Thank you so much for the discussion. I appreciate each and every one of you. Shout out to Miss Nexie. Shout out to Miss Geo. Thank you guys so much for your support. And I will see you guys on the next live stream, which will be Monday, Monday on the Motivated Podcast. I thank you guys so much for your support, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Oh, and make sure that whatever relationship that you are in, either now or in the future, that you feel good, that you feel seen, heard, supported, loved. Yeah, all of those things, because you deserve all of those things. I appreciate everybody's support. Shout out to the chat. Thank you all so much for coming. And I'll see you guys in the next live stream. Thank you guys for your support. And you know what I always say over here? Just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life. See you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.
Be encouraged, be inspired, be yourself, you will survive. Just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
Forgive me, I love me. I've been blessed that I have made it through. I'm stronger and worthy. I am enough now. What about you? I forgive me, I love me. I've been blessed that I have made it through. I'm stronger and worthy. I am enough now. What about you? Ooh, oh, boy.